Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another one of my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. I am a channeler and a seer, and I am a video producer and of some beautiful, beautiful channel messages. Plus, I do a little dabble in a little bit of tarot for fun, because my guides always say, go towards your fun on Tuesday, and I do free chat bar readings on Tuesdays. I'm an intuitive counselor, and so if you want to book me one-on-one, you can do that, and the link is down below on my website, which is codestoanewreality.com. Yes, bit of a rush this morning. Had to drop off my daughter very quickly, so I only just got in the house and sat down. Right, so today is all about channeling in these new ascension messages for these new energies that are pelting us at the moment. I always focus in on the energies that are coming in at the moment so that we can use them to ride them into the next possibilities for ourselves, that we can create and carve something completely new here. Yeah, I can feel them coming through now, which is good. I don't channel like lots of channelers do, where they go use their body like a mediumship and come through as a different voice, because I believe that everybody has this ability to connect to their soul, which connects to other souls in those higher love frequencies. And that is what we call telepathy. In the end, we'll be able to connect with each other. And that is the universal language that we lost back in Atlantis, Lemuria. So lots of wisdom coming through already. And knowledge. Hey, Cherie. Hey, Sky. Good to see you guys. If you haven't seen my latest video, it's a beautiful one from my team. And I'm really starting to feel this pull of mainly working with them now, especially since that video is going off, which is so good to see, because I've done like a lot of videos, and I know that this is completely in sync with me clearing my own self-worth issues. And I just did that last week, as you know from the videos that I've been saying, and now the shift is happening, is starting to reflect outside myself. So the video that I put up yesterday has literally got 500 views, and that's unheard of. So I'm really, really excited about, not that the video, I am excited that the video is taking off, but I'm more excited as to my own self-worth issues clearing, and not being afraid of my light, and speaking my truth and being authentic. And then I'm having this clear what would you call it, funneling into these higher dimensional beings because of that as well. And then I don't know, it just all sinks in. It's beautiful. So really good. Yes, honey, shared her shared you on her channel. That's so wonderful. That's so good. Thank you so much for sharing and liking and subscribing. That's one thing I also forget to say, because the messages are so important, I think, and I just bring them through and don't think to say that. That's why I decided to put it at the title now. Right. Here we go. Let's get into some channel messages for now. They told me to call this bossing up. And that's because the energies at the moment are really giving us the feminine side of ourselves a boost into our own empowerment. Doesn't matter whether you're masculine or feminine or whatever. We all have within our human bodies the masculine and feminine hemispheres, the logical side of ourselves, which is constantly looking outside ourselves to create and carve a new path by only doing things outside of ourselves, or seeing things that are validating ourselves by other people validating us, which never seems to work. And then the other side of it is the feminine side, which is supposed to be self-sufficiently validating us from the inside out. Now, they did bring this up, and it's going to be brought up in another video of mine because it was quite a profound message. They showed me the journey of source energy with Gaia herself, and they showed me a tree, and they said that to begin with, source energy existed within the plant life on Gaia, and it was a more denser physical vibration, and this has happened on other planets as well. But Gaia has this ability within her. She's being created to be able to handle much diversity within herself. They're saying, and that diversity can be from extremities, from consuming to creating. And that in itself gave the ability for humanity to be born here, because humanity has the key to unlock the direct contact to source energy once we get the hang of grounding much more love and soul into this reality, and having that clear connection to our soul, and grounding that onto this planet means that source energy can have more of a playground, a play field, have much more to play with. And I did bring that up in that last video as well, but they're bringing it up again now. They showed me that in our hemispheres of our brain, we have 2 hemispheres, and they had showed me that it is at the central point, the pineal gland, which is where source energy resides within the human mind, can reside in the humanity's mind, and then it branches out. And just like if you flip it up, like the trees when they're planted on Earth have the roots coming down and the trees going up like this, if you flip it like that, then you have exactly the same thing happening within the brains, the 2 hemispheres of the brain of humanity's consciousness. But then they showed me to make this into a Taurus energy within our own mind. We have to connect through the corpus callosum, which resides at the base of the brain. There's like a bridge, and that is where the stories reside that we can, once we learn to control our logical mind and not take over trying to create a path which can only carve a path from the past and project into the future, once we say no to that, because we don't want to keep on repeating the past, right? And we allow ourselves to be able to stop this, the stories going through our minds, and then say, I need to find stillness within myself so I become self-sufficient, and then use my imagination to carve a new path. They also showed me on the other side that there's a flip side to that. And I've never seen, I don't know, I'm not a biologist. I don't even know what to call it. A brain person. Don't even know, a brain scientist. I'm just telling you what they told me, but they said that even though there is that corpus callosum at the base, because if you flip the tree of life, and it has this, I'm trying to explain this in a way that you guys can understand, and it has this energy that flows from love out. It ends up consuming itself, like the trees, the leaves will fall, and then it consumes itself, and then all the nutrients get sucked up the roots, and then it goes up to the central point of the trunk, and then it's like the seed within the side will spark more life and so forth, and go through all the seasons and the journey and all that the tree goes through. Same with our brain, but if you flip it up on its side, you'll have so they're showing me, okay, not flip it up on its side. So if you have the 2 hemispheres like this, you have the source energy in the central point, which is the pineal gland, to, yeah, they do. You flip it up on its side, then you have that logical hemisphere, which is the roots carving, like being strong and staying steadfast on this in this world. And then you have the etheric, the leaves that will float off and do whatever, which is representing the right hemisphere. But then on the sides of it, you'll have the corpus callosum that has the stories going through. They said that, okay, let's put it this way. At the very top of our brain, where the two hemispheres connect, there's an etherical cord, and the etherical cord can go between the two hemispheres, which is connecting us to way more expansiveness. And I'm still, the reason why I'm a little heckle pickle with this is because I'm still integrating it within my own mind of what they're talking about. But there is a definite connection at the top as well. Anyway, and the reason why they're bringing this up is because source energy in itself is a Taurus energy, and it will be consuming and then creating and then consuming. When it creates, it splits itself into many fractions and goes further away from the source of love itself that's in the central part. So to do that, we end up kind of losing ourselves and finding ourselves and losing ourselves and all that. But we're on an adventure, right? We're not perfect. This is all the adventure. We can't be perfect. Otherwise, we'll be like robots and no expansion will be created here. And the reason why they're bringing it up is because we are literally source energy within ourselves, and we have forgotten, because we've only allowed one part of our brain to overexert itself over the other side, over the right-hand side or the feminine side. We've only been trying to find our self-worth outside of ourselves by asking others, how good are we? Are we any good? Is this, have I got enough certificates on my wall? Do I have enough to show other people that I'm really who I am authentically, and constantly grasping for people outside? Well, someone can give you a certificate just as much as someone can take it away. Someone can give you money just as much as it can be taken away. It's a physical form. It's outside of you, and it's really fleeting. But they want us to become more self-sufficient from within us. And so that means we have to go into our thoughts and ask ourselves, what am I thinking? And am I really loving who I am in every moment? And that's why they called it bossing up, because they want us to start to say to ourselves, I am the boss of my own reality. Whether you're in a partnership, whether you're in a big business firm or whatever, if you take back that authority within yourself, you're taking both reins to both sides of your brain. If somebody comes and tries to disturb you and tell you that you're worthless or whatever, you can say, sorry, no, that's not you. That's not me. That's you. And it gives you this empowerment. It gives you this feeling of saying grace within yourself, that you can move through life as love on this planet. Love and passion and all that is a direct contact to our soul. Our soul can only direct us through love. It is love. That's what it is. So whenever you're passionate about something and you move towards it, even if it is outside of the proverbial box of what the so-called society outside of you wants you to do or decides that you should be, even if it is outside of that, if you take that power back and say, I'm going to chip away at this and I'm going to love myself in this moment, no matter what, and every moment, then it will always guide you towards more and more love. And then you can't falter. It's really interesting because we think we can falter, but it's only our logical mind coming in and telling us off because we're scared that Aunt Martha's going to tell us that we're useless if we go down that road, or that we're small people. Why should we try to do something that's outside of the box? We can always shift our world from the inside out, but we cannot. It's very it's very difficult to shift it from the outside in. And I have brought that up in the last reading as well. But they're bringing these things up again because now is the energy that's coming towards, especially the light workers and many people that are watching me. Now is the time where we can take back those reins, and we can start to move forward with a balanced mind. We can use our logic for what we've learnt about, our outside world, but we can also say it's not going to direct me on my worth anymore, because looking outside yourself is not going to give you your worth, not a stable bucket, and not a stable, solid feeling about yourself. I'm going to find my self-worth through my connection to my soul and knowing that I'm moving towards an authentic path, that I love who I am, and that I believe in myself. And to know thyself is so profound. Once we learn to know thyself, we know that we are also source energy or soul, moving through love on this planet and this body. And that in itself means that you would never want to belittle that, because that means you're belittling source energy itself. Every time you have a negative thought, see source energy or God or whatever you want to call it, prime creator in front of you, the universe in front of you, and tell it off, just like you're telling yourself off. That in itself will make you stop doing that, because it's not conducive to you living in a loving relationship with yourself. And this is what this is all about. Humanity's consciousness now coming back into taking the reins themselves and no longer seeking for validation outside themselves, which means that nobody can be in charge of you. You are in charge of you. You're in charge of your thoughts. You're in charge of what you put in your mouth. You're in charge of your life and how you want to carve it, and what your imagination can carve. And move towards, and use that focus point to move towards that. Then you're also in charge of your action, your logical side of yourself, and doing the action in this physical world to bring it to light, to ground it onto this planet. Yeah. Okay, they're now bringing me into a question that someone asked last week, and that was something to do with meditation. And she was asking that, she was saying that she was all hickle-pickle with her meditation or something, and somebody told her she was all over the show and she should meditate. Now, how my guides taught me was, I have a very busy mind because I'm Virgo times 5, right? And I have elemental within me as well, so I can be quite busy, although I have a serenity as well through my guides and where I've come from. But in any case, they taught me you can meditate. There's absolutely nothing wrong with meditate, but it's not to sit there and just think of something, or think of, focus on one thing and that's it. It's actually a practice to control your logical mind, to shush it. The first time I ever meditated, I had a master come in my mind and say shh, and keep telling me to shush my logical mind. But then it went into things like, okay, we need you to learn to control your mind while you're just doing your day-to-day thing. So when you're doing the dishes, be really present. That is a form of meditation. Bringing yourself into the moment while you're doing your day-to-day thing is a form of meditation. It's a form of bringing yourself out of the imbalanced logical mind dictating all these horrible thoughts and things that keep going around in circles, saying no to that and saying, I'm just going to be 100% present with the bubbles in the sink, or the dishes in my hand, or whatever you're doing, washing the car, or gardening or painting. And that's why artists love doing painting. The reason why men love surfing and going fast in their motorbikes is because they have to be present. They have to be in that moment, and it gives them this clarity within themselves when they're very present like that. It gives them a nice feeling. So learning to come into living in the moment is so valid. To be able to go to sleep at night, if you want to go to sleep and you've got a busy mind, you can just feel into your blankets and stuff like that, feel into your sheets and feel them soft next to you, and just go, I'm just going to be present with my blankets and just ignore my mind. And the other thing that they taught me, which I have brought up before, is to put in a default image. And the default image can be like, I used a sunflower. Don't use anything that is too emotionally attached to you, because I tried with this fluffy duck and my logical brain kept running it over. But a default image is, okay, I've caught myself thinking something negative about such and such Joe Blog over there that's going to do me harm, or I'm really afraid of him. I don't really like him anymore. And then instead of thinking over and over and over about meeting this person again, which literally brings you into that energy and literally brings that person into you, instead we're starting to practice training our brain to shush and say, I'm just going to put this default image of a sunflower in my mind. That's all I'm going to do. And then that default image will stay there as long as you can hold it. And every time you catch yourself, you just keep on focusing on the beautiful petals and the beautiful seeds and how it follows the sun and all that sort of stuff. It can be anything, though. You can use whatever you like. It's your choice. This is how they trained me, helped me train my own brain. And then we stepped it up to learning how to be still within my mind. And then we can start to use our imagination to carve a new path, which we've never been taught to do at schools and stuff. We've never been taught how to use our imagination properly. It's been literally held hostage by the powers in charge to program our imagination to only follow what they wanted us to follow. And then we end up bringing in that, because we are creator beings, we are creators. And so we were literally programmed to move into fear-based scenarios and things that made us tense. And then when we're tense, when our bodies are tense and our muscles are tense, we become sick because our bodies can't stay tense for too long. Otherwise, the tension within us will form sickness within us as well. And then we just keep getting lost within that, and our souls don't want to reside in our body, and then they find a way out and so forth. So it was kind of blanketing humanity's consciousness so that we couldn't develop. Swinging me back to the message that we had at the beginning with the two brains and that side of it. And learning to be self-sufficient, just like source energy is. So God itself is you, and you are it. And everything else that's alive is that as well. That's why we are one. Through the eyes of source energy, we are one. And that's why my team's constantly saying namaskar, greetings. I recognize we are one, because they are so close to source energy in themselves that they can see us and them. They know that we are God going on a journey through this body on this moment on earth, trying to figure things out. And there's no less or better than, there's no competition. That's all to do with the logical brain being programmed to think that we have to compete with somebody outside of us. The only competition you have is from within your own psyche and your own self of, am I being authentic? And once you start to really develop that, am I being authentically me? And moving towards carving that path. It could be anything. It could be that you are authentically a mechanic, that you're passionate and you love it. No one can teach you how to be passionate. This is something that's inbuilt in you, and everybody has something that they will become passionate about, because we all have the soul wanting to discover a new journey. We want to go on a new journey. We want to create and carve something different here, or even we want to experience something that somebody else has done. It doesn't make any difference. It's still source energy wanting to have that adventure through as you are it. Yeah, so wow, really coming through heaps at the moment. I haven't even read the chat bar. Hi, dear land. Hi, Annie. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. And hi, Annie. I think I said Annie. Anyways, so thank you so much too for sharing my stuff out. And I want to thank my team too, because they've really come through for me throughout my whole life. They have been guiding me, and I've only just, like, it feels like I'm clicking into place. Oh my God, they were present then, they were present then, they were present then. I did channel message then, I did do this then. They're bringing up all these moments where they were part of helping me, guide me through all of this mind rubble. And yeah, and also, yeah. So as we go on these journeys, we might also encounter our blockages. Just remember that that's okay. Remember, it's not there as a blockage. It's there to show you where you blocked yourself. Everything that you have, that you are, they're telling me everything that you move towards is through the soul, through love. If you come across something that is not feeling, it's got resistance, it's because you already blocked yourself from that. You have a fear of your own light, fear of your own magnificence, fear of your own connection to your soul, where that would take you. Because when we are born as little babies on this planet, we were supposed to be, if our parents and our teachers were imbalanced themselves, then they would show you how to be self-nurturing, and instead their imbalance didn't show you that. Their imbalance told you to only seek for nurturing outside of yourself, and you could never seek that, because that is a fleeting thing that can be taken away. So yeah, wow, so much. Let's just see what else comes through. Also, if anyone has a question too, that they're quite happy to answer that question. And they're telling me to bring up that I actually have an interview with a beautiful lady called Mandy Horton after this as well. So I'm going to put up her link and stuff like that as well, probably in my community panel, and give you guys a heads up on that new video that's coming up with her team. She's another Kiwi like me, another New Zealander. Let's see what else comes through. Opportunities are coming up when we start to boss up like this, when we start to take the reins to our own reality. Opportunities are going to start flowing in. It's not going to stay the same. It's like they said, there's a lot of us that are light workers that are like, oh my God, it's never going to shift. It's never going to change. When is it going to change? When am I going to see my fruit on the outside? You know, that I can actually see that validation of what inner work that I've been doing coming at me on the outside as well. So it's, you know, equal paring to how I feel about myself. It will shift. It will change. Just keep holding and moving towards that while self-nurturing self. Don't and just if you go down, you know, into a depression or something that's a bit icky, use it as a okay, this is a boulder that I need to step on and figure out why this is here. Use it as something that you can break it down with, but always point it back to yourself, to be able to do that. Because the more that we point our finger outside ourselves and blame others, the more we're just going to get lost in that graspiness of trying to grasp the outside world to shift our inner world, and it can't be that way. This is the new paradigm that we're moving into, the fifth dimensions and up, the whatever you want to call them. My team just sees it as a progression of humanity's psyche coming in back into balance, or into balance. This is literally a new thing in itself, because even back in Atlantis, Lemuria, we were more towards the feminine side and learning all about that. And now we've gone through this whole journey of learning all about the outer side, the masculine side, the outside of ourselves, the physical world. Now we're bringing it all together, and it's almost like source energies anticipating where humanity's going to take this next, and what we can actually create in this physical world through the love of ourselves. It's exciting for the next adventure of what we're going to do. The rest of it that we tend to sometimes get hooked into the fear of that other game that's been played is going to crumble. It's going to fall. Even they are going to realize that they are part of this whole beautiful experience that humanity has gone through. It's all part of a story that's developing humanity's consciousness into becoming mini godlike, while still in a physical form, and experiencing way more. So it's not like we are stepping out of the third dimension. We're bringing heaven on earth. We're bringing the fifth dimensions into our third dimensional experiences as well. So we have a more solid grounding to actually play an adventure on, and but it'll allow us to connect to source energy and know that we are that. We know thyself. And then we bring in the telepathy and all the right hemispheres, understanding that's why throughout the logical path that we've just gone through in these last eons of thousands of years, we've still had glimpses of that telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation was something that can be achieved within the humanity's consciousness. It was always a magical thing over there, but it's because it did reside within our ability to do so, and even within in the animal kingdom, it actually exists. It's just that humanity will only see what they can experience within themselves. And so when we start to realize we can experience more, we will see it more outside of us as well. And this is where the magic starts to really happen. It's so beautiful. They're very excited about this. I can feel this. It's not excitement. How can I call that? It's like no, just happy. Yeah. So there's so much more for us to discover as we move along, and it all starts with you and your inner journey and shining your light and being in a place that you absolutely love, and being the ones that carve your own reality, and no longer needing to even worry about what's happening over the other side, because they can't monopolize everything. They when they only come from their outside world trying to shift things outside of themselves, it's a very slow procedure even for them. So when we come from the inner self out, and we know our self-worth, and that we're aligned and attuned with our soul and source energy, God, whatever you want to call it, prime creator, you already have the advantage point of seeing the spaces in between their programmings, and being able to move around it or through it even, and not touch you, but you're still having an enjoying experience. Moving through this life, like experiencing shopping, experiencing playing with your kids, and the money game, which is such a weird concept for myself and my team. But because true abundance comes from within oneself anyway, and they've just programmed us to feel lesser than, so that we're constantly striving for money instead, and outside of us, instead of knowing our own self-worth and taking that back, and then allowing the universe to bend to that abundance that we feel within ourselves. So there's just so much coming through at the moment. It's really interesting. Yeah. Okay, guys, I've actually got this interview in like 10 minutes, so I'm going to have to love you and leave you here. And I will be live next Thursday again. Sorry, I was a bit late this morning, but that's just the way it goes. And I will be also live on Tuesdays. I do dabble in a bit of tarot for fun, and I do some free readings on that day. So if you want to come on board and be part of the team, that would be great. Just subscribe down below. And also I will be doing some more beautiful videos, video messages, because I love doing them, because I feel I am honoring and respecting the messages that are coming through, and I want them to be produced with grace so that you guys can feel into the vibration that I feel into. So thank you so much for being part of this, and until next time, bye.